Bam! What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Breaking the Base. This is episode 81. And if you weren't here last week to check out episode 80, I was talking about Dragon Ball Z. Unfortunately, me and Ken didn't get up, but go over there and enjoy the video. It was honest. But having said that, this episode 81, we are going to talk about some of the trailers that dropped down at Comi-Con. And of course, we are talking about the Thor Ragnarok trailer, Black Panther, and also Justice League. And without further ado, I'm going to let Ken go ahead and start this thing off. Ken, what did you think about what we had seen?
I am very excited. I am super stoked that they released a new Thor Ragnarok. They released the Black Panther initial trailer, not the teaser, the trailer, full trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought out a second trailer for Justice League. And bam, I just saw Wonder Woman like a couple weeks ago. Loved it. I was like, man, now I saw her kicking into Justice League. So let's see who's coming up first. Thor. Thor's coming up first. We had a Thor new Ragnarok trailer. Ragnarok adds a lot more stuff that we didn't see before. We see a little bit more of Helena, or Helena, however you wish to say it, played by Cate Blanchett.
Love her.
She looks like a pretty badass bad person in this one. I mean, she is going to be a trip in this movie, and I'm very excited to see it, especially when she smashes Smaljor right in her hand. It goes, squish, done, you know. You have to realize that hammer is made from a dying star. I mean, its density is just unprecedented, and she just goes, whoop, done. So that looks good. She has almost like, it looks like a liquid body armor, but when you see her,
like I like how that was formed. Because I was not wanting that to be like a regular helmet.
Yeah, that would have been cheesy. But if you watch throughout the trailer, and I was just watching it a minute ago, just before we came online, just kind of recapping, watching over the video and seeing her come up and fighting the Guardians of Asgard. You know, we know Thor ends up getting ousted off of Asgard. He has no hammer. He's basically been picked up by a new character in this one called Valkyrie, who works for the Game Master, which is basically the guy who runs the Planet of Games. Like, it's gladiatorial games.
Yeah.
Where we find out where the Hulk's been since the end of Avengers
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. So we find out what's been going on with him for a while, and it's been quite some time too. So he's like the #1 gladiator there. They're going through all this crazy stuff. So there's a lot of stuff coming up, and you know, we've had a super great cast in here. Carl Urban's in here, which I'm excited to see because I like him.
Who is Carl Urban playing again?
He is playing a character named Scourge. He is basically Helena's what do you say, enforcer, bodyguard, collaborator off of Asgard.
Yeah.
He's also a character right out of the comic books as well, who's not liking Thor so much. So he's pretty weapons trained, pretty bad guy. Kind of does all her dirty work that she doesn't do. So it will be interesting to see, you know, that. Who else is on here? Of course, we got Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner / the Hulk, and that was the other cool thing. And you know, most of the movies we've seen so far with the Hulk in it, you know, he's very limited in what he says, and he's holding like a whole conversation sitting next to Thor, which was really cool. Yep. He's like, "I like fire, you like water." He goes, "No, I kind of like fire." "No, I like raging fire," and it's great. I cannot wait to see these two together because I have definitely enjoyed Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. I like the fact that they're kind of bringing him a little more audible character instead of just a blind rage creature. They're bringing him into that. And we'll see how these gladiator games go too, because the new trailer starts out great where he's like, I started out, I lost my hammer. I went to go find myself. I ended up getting caught. And then I ran into you. You know?
I like it's kind of how casual how casually he did it that kind of made it funny. And I think that's what made it such a kind of, what's the word I want to say? Not telling, but okay. I want to know this. Do you think that was beginning of the fight or ending of the fight?
That's
when he
after the
starts to
fight.
swim.
Definitely after the fight.
Okay.
There is because he doesn't know he's coming. I mean, when you see him, he's like he's going against our champion, and next thing you know, here comes the Hulk smashing through the wall. So that's definitely after the fight. Something goes amiss there because we also see Loki chained up later on. But if you watch the fight, you see Loki with the Game Master.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that's in there. We're getting teased a lot. I love the visual scene that they have where Helena's fighting all the people on the Pegasus coming in. She looks wickedly bad. I don't know quite exactly where they're going to go with that. I don't know if that's when she was imprisoned or sometime after she was imprisoned. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. But regardless, I mean, it looks good. Very good. I was trying to see if there was anything else I may have missed here real quick. Hemdell's going to be in there. We know that.
I want to know. I do want them to explain like what's been going on with like her character. I know she was in prison, but I want to know why.
I think that's where that Pegasus scene comes from. I think that's how she got imprisoned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing, but I know she was in a box, a cube, something kind of an imprisonment. And I thought I read somewhere she was actually Loki's daughter, which I don't think that.
I read that a while ago too. Even with that, did you ever see the Hulk versus Thor?
No, I did not.
They said they mentioned it in that one too that was his daughter.
So I'm like, I think she's coming back as the goddess of death. I don't know.
Yeah, she ruled like the underworld or something like that.
Well, you also remember that scene where you see in the first trailer. Yeah, I think it's the first trailer or the first teaser, not first trailer. Sorry, that you see him on a chain and he's spinning down.
Yeah,
and then he snaps. But if you look at the background, you actually see all these characters moving. It's like a fluid people, like a hellish type thing. Yeah, and all these people moving around. So, maybe that's the underworld that she came from, or she escaped from, or was imprisoned, or giving him a taste of what her life was like for the last, however long she's been locked up. So,
yeah,
there's a lot of really cool stuff that's going to be happening. And I just, we're going to see. I think it's November 3rd is when Thor Ragnarok comes out, which would be pretty sweet. And then, who comes out next after that?
Did you realize that they used a lot of technology? Like their type of technology, like they had guns and stuff
for the Asgardians.
Like that whole where there's one scene where you see Loki and Thor standing next to each other with some guns.
Oh yeah, there is because he doesn't have a hammer anymore.
Yeah, and it's like
that, and then you have.
I've always been kind of curious about their weaponry and technology because it was more science / magic based.
Well, exactly. The most advanced technology to an uncivilized was Arthur C. Clarke, and I believe it's like the most advanced technology would seem like magic to somebody underneath them, and so that's kind of what Thor was explaining in the first movie about their culture and their abilities, and it seemed like magic to you, but it's normal to us.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, they have definitely advanced technology, but most of the things we've always seen those because they were Norse, based on Norse gods, or they were what influenced the Norse gods. Is swords mostly we've seen, except for their ships, which have blasters of some sort. But most of what we see them with, at least what they fight with, has been all bladed weapons or something very similar. And now we're seeing a reversal of that. When it comes to him being on the gaming world.
Yep.
And what was that? It's called.
I can't get into. Why you think of that one to bring up something else also? How possibly Hela escapes. Remember at the end of Thor, the Dark World, where it's revealed that Loki was impersonating Odin?
Yes.
So do you perhaps think it might have something to do with him? Like, okay, I hope they answer where the hell Odin's at too.
I have a theory. I have two theories. One, Loki could have done it by accident, looking around trying to find something.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think, though, and I don't know what the timing is here, we know at some point in time, at the end of, is it Guardians? Where we see,
Of the galaxy.
when we see Thanos putting on the glove,
Mm-hmm.
he was on Asgard, because that's where the glove was. And
I didn't realize
I'm wondering if Thanos, as a distraction, let her loose.
that. Okay, that's a solid point. Actually, didn't really. I
That's a
hadn't thought of
good
that.
building point, because, like I say, I remember reading and some of the stuff as we were going through the movies that not only did Asgard have the Terrasact, but they also had the glove in the vault.
Mm-hmm.
And we did see at the end, Thanos did get the glove, so he's got the gauntlet. So he just needs to populate it with the 5 stones. And the Terrasact being there, I'm wondering if he got that too while he was there. And then again, let her loose as a distraction.
Okay, I can get behind that.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I had
And
to think about it.
and again, it still brings up the fact that nobody knows what the hell happened to
Odin.
what happened to Odin. So maybe they'll have an answer for this too.
There was
Oh,
some mention of that too. We know at some point in time at the end of the last movie we saw Steve's Doctor Strange talking with Thor, and I know that at some point I believe they're actually going to be on Earth in his area.
yeah.
Yeah, we're filling his beer mug, which was
Mm-hmm.
cool. So Sakar is the name of the planet that they're on.
Yeah. I can't believe
So,
I can't remember. I can't believe I forgot that. I just seen it too.
so there's going to be some interesting things. I think we might get a chase. Um, let's see what happened to Odin, or what can we do with Odin, where we need Odin to come back to take her out. You remember we were also talking about in the end of the video, we see the Hulk going at what looks like some kind of demon-looking creature.
Sutor or something like that.
Sutor.
Yeah.
Yep. Sutor is going to make an appearance in the movie.
And for those who don't know, Sutor is one of the strongest beings in the universe. I believe he was the only other person to beat him was Thor and Odin. I know it was Odin for sure, but I think Thor took him out too.
Yep. So we got a lot of stuff going on in this upcoming Thor movie, and we'll be seeing that on November 3rd. So definitely a lot of stuff, and I expect to see more trailers, or maybe a little bit more updated. Maybe one more trailer between now and then. I mean, it's only like July, August, September, October, November. So yeah, there's probably gonna be some more dropping, and we probably see a third trailer in about a month and a half, perhaps, to add maybe a little more Doctor Strange, a little more kind of subplot in the background, and see what's going on. I I like to see a little bit more, but I mean, I've been very happy with what I've seen so far, and that last trailer was very epic, very epic.
Yep.
A
It
lot of
was.
stuff, a lot of things, a lot of visual effects, and I don't even think they were completely done with it either. I think that was a very, I don't want to say rough, but I mean, there's going to be a lot more visuals into that movie, and it's going to be pretty badass.
Did you also read something about that movie being the shortest Marvel movie?
What? I
I
wouldn't think
read
so.
it. I came across it somewhere. They said that one's going to be the shortest one.
I hope not.
I
I think
hope
most
not
of the average
either.
runtime has been what, 2 hours? I think for most of them. I would hope
I
that they would at
guess.
least be I would hope at least a 2 hour movie.
No,
And if
because
you want to
there's
go
a
a little
lot
bit
of shit.
shorter, 2 hours, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on. I mean, if you've read the
They got to cover a
Ragnarok
lot of ground.
comics, you have got to be
And
humping that movie.
another thing that I was interested in, I want to see like Thor and Loki's relationship at this point.
Yes, because it was like, surprise, and you open the door and he's all chained up and everything. So it must be some pretty tough chains, because they're holding an Asgardian back, so they've got to be pretty strong. And for him to be back that easy, I mean, they pretty much just electrocuted him taser gunned him basically.
I hope they do something with him to his brothers and him not betraying them, because it seems like every time he get put in a situation, they work
he's
together.
there for this long, and then he's like, "Oh, I need my own agenda. Thank you."
Yeah, I want them to actually gain some ground here somewhere.
I think if they go looking for Odin, and I believe that there's been some I don't say screen captures, some paparazzi snaps and stuff like that of them on Earth looking for Odin. So I think that at this point they're having to team up, and I think you will see that. You will get some, may not be exactly where they're at now, but I think it's going to be a rebuilding thing, because you're going to see him on Sakaar, dropping him off like, hey, let's enjoy the game. Then something goes wrong, and he ends up getting imprisoned himself. Thor breaks him out along with Valkyrie. So you got those four, Hulk, Thor, Valkyrie, and Loki all together.
Which is pretty cool.
They're gonna
like
definitely
Asgard's version of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and they're gonna team up with, and they're gonna meet up with Hemdale too. I know he comes in there because he has some scenes with him in there. It's brief, but they are in there.
Yeah.
And we know there's gonna be some. They're gonna be looking for Odin, who's probably gonna have to come in and beat the demon. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. It could be a very rapid paced movie. But I hope they, just in the trailers, we've seen, the smashing Helena does to Asgard just in a few moments.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that goes. She's pretty powerful. So it's going to be definitely it's going to be an interesting ride. And I hope that they don't try to completely run through it real fast.
Yeah. That's
if they're going to be short, I hope not. I really would like to see a 2-hour movie. And they don't have to mess around with Sakaar so much. I mean, they can do a lot more searching. They can do a lot more fighting. We know we're going to see probably a big grand end somewhere. So
yeah, the fight between Thor and Hulk, they have to go all out for it.
Yeah.
The one in the first movie was okay. The Hulk versus Hulkbuster, that's the best one we've seen on film.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
And so they need to. I want to see these two go at it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I see the humor already, and then I'm sure the seriousness will come later. But I'm liking the chemistry. I'm liking everything so far they've thrown out there. The second trailer is far better than the first, and I'm stoked. I am very stoked to wait to see it. Wasn't a big Thor person before, but I mean, I enjoy what they've done so far, and he puts his own little twist on the character, and it's been pretty good. He's got the little humor and then the seriousness. So. Especially when she goes, "I'm the goddess of death. What are you the god of?" And he's all lighting up.
Yeah, I think that was him with the Odin Force, I believe.
And he was sitting on the bridge and just getting all lit up.
That was pretty cool. That's probably the coolest he's ever seen in any of these movies.
Yeah, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Remember, hit your theaters November 3rd. Just 8 days later, my birthday.
All right, okay. Let's talk about the Black Panther.
Black Panther, another very surprising trailer. Lots of action, lots of things going on. We've talked previously in many of our other videos, kind of bouncing around a little bit in the Marvel universe. Wakanda being the technology capital. Our main character is on par with Iron Man in intelligence and wealth. I mean, he's probably even more wealthier because Wakanda's been kept a secret throughout the entire world.
Yeah.
And when we see this trailer, we see Ulysses Claw, we saw from Age of Ultron, missing his arm. Pretty much.
That was funny.
I thought he had actually lost it up here, but he was actually missing a good nub of his arm. So yeah. We see that they're trying to cover up the Wakanda secret, keeping it quiet. And Claw's I've been there, I know it, and I can see you guys. We see what's been going on, the culture, or at least a very small inkling of the culture. I mean, if you look at the movie picture, him on the giant panther, basically, which is the guardian and their god, you see a lot of stuff going on, and Wakanda is just like an amazing technological haven of stuff. And we've seen very brief moments at the end of Civil War where the Winter Soldier is locked up in cryostasis, trying to resolve helping him out. They actually got welcomed into Wakanda, so they kind of know what's going on. but for the rest of the world, they have no idea what's been going on. They just know they got some money, but they just don't know how far along they are, which is really cool.
This is one thing I want to see from this movie. I know they're technology based; they are advanced,
Very.
but they do have that
They still retain a cultural identity.
Yeah, and, I was me and my girl was watching Ultimate Avengers, and it kind of disappointed me. But I realized for as advanced as they weren't advanced. Like they had technology and stuff, but they were still like using spears, and it wasn't like the spears were special or nothing like that. They were like regular spears, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, you see also after that scene where he's fighting Killmonger in the water, and they're fighting with traditional type weaponry. We see a couple scenes that flip through that have some of the other bodyguards, and I'm not exactly sure which ones they are because there's a lot of names I haven't really associated to a face right now. But you see two female characters come out. One's got like a spear, and the other one looks like tiger claws or some type of
I just
optical weapon or something, maybe an energy type weapon or something like that as a claws. We see that coming up. We also see a lot of the masks, and if you see when he first walks into, I guess the big, I don't know what that big open area is, but you see all the people of Wakanda there, and he's looking up.
Yeah.
And they're in traditional dress, and just it's very visual. I mean, it's really amazing, when you see it. And I like how you hear Claw talk about how they were looking for El Dorado. They were all looking in the wrong place. It's actually, they were talking about Wakanda.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting twist. I haven't seen any not a lot in the comics. I mean, I've read Black Panther, but I never really dug into Black Panther until the movie came out. It's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. It was like, I've seen them, but it wasn't anything important. Now they're out. It's like, I should have read more.
Yeah.
Same thing with Black Panther. Black Panther comes out, and you're like, okay. And then you see the modernization of us putting it to film, and then you're like, crap, man, I should have been reading that a long time ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I want it to be modern, but still retain their actual culture.
Yeah, they and I think they're going to do a really cool job. Now, I don't remember a lot again in the comics because there's a lot of other cities too. There's a gorilla city where Grog's from. That's a whole nother entity and another world. But it's very similar to that in this case with Wakanda. So I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. Especially the visuals. The visuals in that one were really good. It was when he's jumping off the car and he's flipping in the air and he lands on the other car.
The car was like spinning while he was flipping through there.
And you're like, what? Oh, and then him taking out the guys. First shows up out there and he knocks all those guys down. Dead shooting him right up in his body armor. It's all made of aluminium and vibranium, which is a derivative of it. There's so much going on.
That's one thing I like about it you had brought up. Like he's as smart as Tony Stark, but as physically skilled as Captain America.
Oh, very. He goes hand in hand with him easily. And I also like, as you listen to the trailer, and somebody in the background's talking. It may have been the previous king that was assassinated in the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about, you can't always be a nice guy and still be a leader. So you got to get your hands dirty somewhere. And I think that's what I think he was kind of relating to that in the storyline. So. Hi. It's the Madam B. Love my mug. Love it, love it, love it.
Hey.
Orange. You got orange. That would be good right now too. A nice cold orange soda.
Nah, this the little packet.
Oh, I can't drink those, unfortunately. Aspartame and I are not good friends. Usually it creates migraine headaches, but anywho. But I definitely want to see it. I'm definitely been doing a lot of reading back in the back into the series and doing a lot of reading on what's been going on. And it's kind of neat that we see a comic coming back out. Just again, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Black Panther's coming out of obscurity. We're seeing that. We're seeing it as a major player character. We saw it in not in Civil War. I definitely know we're going to see them in Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
And having their own movie, which is great. And again, I hope what I've already seen so far should be phenomenal. And I definitely am ready. Forrest Whitaker's in there.
He's awesome. He's always awesome.
Andy Serkis. Oh, that's why he looks so familiar. Man, I didn't even realize that was Andy Serkis as Claw. That's terrible.
I'm interested. Another thing I'm interested in, like, who do you think they could bring into this? Like, I know Martin Freeman's character is going to be in it, and Martin Freeman is awesome. Love that guy. He's awesome in everything he does. But like, what if you could choose one of the other characters from there's an Ant-Man or Thor,
a supporting character out of one of the other ones to complement them? Actually, well, Captain America would be. I mean, we've already seen him there, and he has the skills. But I don't think it's time for him to come back. They need to really kind of throw. I don't want to say an obscurity, but you got to have a good balance. Actually, I would like to see. Who would be good? I would actually like to see the Winter Soldier coming on board. Maybe they made some progress in the time. Again, I don't know how much time has happened, so I don't know where we're at in relation to Infinity War. Not Infinity War. Excuse me. Civil War and this movie. I mean, obviously it's after Age of Ultron, and it's definitely after. I mean, it's got to be at least sometime really close to Civil War. So maybe they made some progress with the Winter Soldier. Maybe they found the mechanism to kind of help him cope, or something, and they need that assistance and kind of bring him in.
Because this movie takes place like shortly after Black Panther makes it back to Wakanda. Yeah,
it has to be real quick. So it may not be in enough time, because let's see, if I was trying to see if there was any time frame here, but it doesn't really. It just says after Civil War, so I don't really have a reference. So it may be too soon for him. We know we're going to see an Ant-Man and Wasp movie, so I doubt they'll bring those. If they could bring them in. Winter Soldier might be too close to bring in, although I'm sure we're going to see him in Infinity War. And most of the characters we've already seen, so it would have to be somebody that we haven't seen or have very limited exposure to so far to kind of introduce them into the world. But there's not a lot of people who tie into the Wakanda area.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the very first time they've actually, I mean, I don't even think there's even been any major specials in the Black Panther series of comics. So this is really this is kind of a jump out, per se, of, just like Guardians was. Black Panther is going to be that jump out there, and I'm excited. I'm very excited for it. Everything is, you would think he's just an obscure character, but when you realize and put everything together and you say, holy crap, he's got all that money. Holy crap, he's got all these skills. I mean, he's got all this technology. You just, boom.
I was very impressed with him. I was very impressed with him on Civil War.
I like when he takes his mask off and he's like, so?
We got Killmonger. Do you think, what do you think of the character Killmonger? Because from what I read, he says liken Killmonger and T'Challa's relationship to X-Men's characters Magneto and Professor, where you have, of course, T'Challa possibly wanting to extend reach out to the world, doesn't want to be isolated, but you have Killmonger who's like, possibly, hey, we don't need to mess with the world, we need to be by ourselves. Do you think this character is going to feel like more Magneto?
Well, that's cliche? A good reference that you I hope not, but I mean, you're always going to have that. Professor X wanted to integrate the mutants into society and not live with fear. He wanted to live in coexistence. And here we go into a very similar situation where Wakanda has basically been putting up a sham for the world for centuries. and they're actually so far ahead of that no one would even catch up with them in like forever. And they have technologies and things that could be so beneficial to the world, but for whatever reason, the isolation, they're just keeping that to themselves. Is that fair to the world that, you know, you keep all that to yourself? Or should you share it? I mean, I know they don't want to let the cat out of the bag, because if they did, everybody would come there and try to take everything that they have, and that's what they don't want. So it's a catch-22.
I would like to see that moral dilemma. Like, I would like to see somebody make that argument in the movie.
Well, I think that's what we're going to see with Killmonger in there, because you know, he is an opposite of the current character. He doesn't want T'Challa, which is Chadwick Boseman's character, or the Black Panther in the movie, and Killmonger. They have two different mentalities, two different things. They want to see something different for each, you know, and that is definitely where we're going to see some headbutting. We're going to see. I think that's where Claw comes in to work with Killmonger. So we might even see his when his hand gets changed.
Yeah, like when Martin Freeman's talking to what's his name, and then you see in the trailer some guys breaking in there to get him out.
Yes, with the mask on.
Killmonger.
Yeah, very well could have been. It would make sense. I mean, he's got the technology. And he's been exiled, so you know he needs somebody to get in there, and he needs something to get in. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I really like that relationship. You know, Magneto or Professor X. You know, good, bad. But I mean, you know, even if in this case, you know, again, Wakanda having all this technology and can save millions of lives with what they have. You know, that may be one of the arguments, or they just say, well, we're so supreme, no one can beat us. You know, we can take care of the world, no problem. You know, we have the technology. We can beat Stark's defenses. We can beat Asgardians. We can do all this. We have no problem doing it.
Yeah, that's what one thing Captain America said to him at the end of Civil War. It was like, better hope that nobody finds out that Bucky's here, because they will come for him. Yeah. And then T'Challa's like, let them try. I was like, okay.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. The Real Kung Fu.
All right, and we're going to get on to the final topic of discussion tonight, the Justice League trailer.
Yes.
The most, had to be the most standout.
Holy smoke, is that like freaking coming out? Oh, yeah, by the way, Black Panther is coming out February 16th of 2018. So we got a little while before that one comes out. But Justice League is coming out on 17th of November. So we're getting 2 movies, as we talked last time. 2 movies same month. And both are going to be big, big movies. But Justice League, I think, is the one that is really cranking right now. We saw a hinkling of our potential bad guy, which is going to be Steppenwolf, who is Darkseid's basically lead general. We don't see a lot of him in the videos, but what we do see, he's pretty powerful. He's very determined. We see some boom tubes opening up. We see, if you've done any reading on what's called mother boxes, and you see it in the trailer, you see what looks like knights burying a square box in the ground. We know that the Atlanteans have a box. We know that the humans have a box, which basically is what Cyborg is made out of. And then we have the Themyscira and the Amazons guard a 3rd box. And they need I guess the search is to get all 3 boxes combined together. So we see fighting in Atlantis. We see fighting on Themyscira. We didn't see so much fighting per se. We see a lot of the little, I forgot what they call them, fire demons or whatever. They're little minions, basically. Parademons. Yeah, the parademons. We see those in there. We've seen them referenced also in several other movies. We saw Steppenwolf. If you watch the Superman versus Batman deleted scenes, there's a picture of Luthor in the goop talking to somebody, and he has what looks like 3 boxes in front of him, which we assume are now the mother boxes. So
I didn't know that. I got the movie. I'm gonna go back and watch it.
Yeah, watch that deleted scene again, and you'll see Steppenwolf talking or mumbling something. And then you'll see in his hands in front, there's 3 boxes floating. And I think that's all the mother boxes that he's looking for on Earth. What their
Okay.
function will be, I don't know. We know that Cyborg, basically, when the mother box activates, it builds Cyborg. I mean, it's like 80% of his body. So that's
what
there. And
happened
then
on rebooted when the DC animated universe. That's similar to how Cyborg was created in that one, with Justice League War. So I think I see where they're kind of taking some of the source material from.
yeah, they're piecing and parting it a lot. We're adding the mother boxes. We're adding Dad trying to save his life with technology. We're seeing a little bit of everything going in there. So, I like how they did the Flash in this series too, especially when he's standing there talking to Commissioner Gordon.
That was
And
pretty
he's like,
funny.
"Oh, I'm sorry. That was kind of rude that they left like that." Then he disappears.
Steppenwolf, which is weird because I've never seen him before.
He's come up in some of the animated series, but he looks different. He doesn't look like you see with all the armor and everything on. In one of the animated series, he kind of looks like he's kind of got the evil face and a long kind of like a goatee, a pointy goatee. It looks like a Robin Hood hat, but he's very skilled and fast and dangerous.
Like I'm looking at a little bit of him on Wikipedia, and it says he's Darkseid's uncle.
Well, they're all kind of weirdly related. He's also his lead general.
Yeah,
and you also have to understand like the whole thing on Darkseid's planet is very, very weird. It's very unusual because you have like mom or mother, and you have like his brother Calabash, and then you have all these other supporting characters of the new, what basically would be considered the new gods.
Yeah. Do you think they perhaps will make an appearance? Like Orion or someone of them, any one of them?
I don't know if they're going to or not. I think seeing Steppenwolf alone in here, I definitely suspect we're going to see Darkseid, but it's going to be brief. If they're just doing it just like Marvel did with Thanos. He's always in the background, always manipulating.
Yeah.
And Darkseid will probably be there. He may already have been there, and he's just watching what goes on. I don't know. I really would like to see how they make him look.
I think what they're going to do with Darkseid is at the end of the movie, he's going to be like, well, I'm tired of playing games, and he's going to get this gauntlet, and he says he's going to go get the mother boxes himself.
If the mother boxes are that important to conquering.
Let me stop. I'm ripping off Marvel here.
Let me he's going to put on a right-handed glove, though. Yeah. And that's going to be silver. It's going to be silver instead of gold and left-handed. Although I think there's a technical problem because I think the original Infinity Gauntlet was right-handed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't understand. I'm very curious about what the mother boxes are in relation to conquering Earth. We have 3 boxes guarded by 3 different races. One that can't be found, one that hasn't been discovered yet. Well, 2 technically that haven't been discovered yet, but and then man themselves. So the curiosity of the mother boxes, I definitely want to see Steppenwolf fight because so far we've seen his axe flying, we've seen him smashing through the ground and split the ground open like I'm ready to go, and you hear him narrating the very beginning of the trailer. So I'm very interested to see that. And then of course we see them forming as a team. We know that they're not going to like each other, they're going to fight and butt heads. That's just how every movie is. They never gel instantly. So there's going to be, of course, that butting heads.
From what I can tell, from like brief glimpse over, the mother boxes seem like they act like the Infinity Stones. They can access this thing called the Source.
Okay.
There you go. Transfer energy, sense danger, sense life, create force fields, rearrange molecular structure of matter, absorb or project powerful shock waves, create electro webs. I don't know what that is. Control the mental state of a host, communicate telepathically, manipulate the life force of a host to sustain it past fatal injuries, open and close boom tubes,
Yeah, we know boom tubes.
It's a whole list of stuff.
Wow. Well, that's interesting then. And if they've
So
been there
maybe
that long, why
that's
did it
what the
take
mother
Darkseid so
boxes
long to
are.
get them?
That maybe they're DC's Infinity Stones.
That's probably that makes sense now. That makes all the
Okay.
sense in the world. It says the new gods view mother boxes as common appliances. They're basically sentient computer systems. So
Okay.
that is very interesting.
I guess so. Now I'm not one of those to be like where they cop it off Marvel. No, no. And plus, Marvel and DC have been ripping off each other for years.
True. They've been doing it for a
But
long time. I'm very interested now. That I really
but I'm gonna get on to the nitty gritty of the trailer. We're gonna see a lot of action. And I'm one of those, if it's a superhero movie, I want to see battle, and there's like, all of these great superheroes fighting. I want to see a kick-ass battle.
Well, I like it when you see Aquaman smashing that parademon straight through the building, comes
That
out,
roof.
slides off his body, and is like, woohoo! Yeah. Batman.
I don't mind him acting. I like his personality.
Well, he's much better of an, he's not the little pansy, goody two shoes Aquaman that we're used to from the old Justice League cartoons. I mean, Aquaman was kind of cool, but he was like Aquaman. He's like, what can you do? You live in the water. You can't fly or do anything. So, then we got Jason Momoa coming up here, and he's like freaking 8 foot tall, badass, got the beard, got the big trident. I mean, he's squashing people. He just looks intimidating. Even if he was still like the Aquaman of before, he's still intimidating.
Yeah.
And that dude's a monster.
If Aquaman was the good guy, Jason Momoa would be Aquaman's brother that could beat you up.
Yeah, he's like, don't mess with me. I'll crush you.
But what did you think? What do you think about the Flash? Because I love the way they represent how he super speeds.
I like the personality that they give in the Flash. All we've always seen is the Flash as a working in criminal justice. Barry Allen, the nerd or whatever. I mean, he wasn't even really a nerd. He was really good at his job. But this one, it doesn't seem like he's attached to law enforcement. He's more opposite, like a hacker or something along those lines. He's got his little cool layer.
He kind of reminds me of how Parker acted in the new Spider-Man Homecoming movie.
Yeah.
Kind of has that with his personality.
Yeah, he's got that. Either he's had it for a little bit of time, or he's not quite fit into it yet. He's still learning the kinks and quirks of his abilities. And then he uses for advantage, because I like it when he says, all I've done is push somebody and run.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't even know how long he's even been dealing with this experience. So, and we've also recall in Batman versus Superman, we see him pop through talking to Bruce Wayne about something, and then he ends up coming back. We know the Flash can time travel. So, and we know there's going to be a Flash movie coming up in late 2018, early 2019.
Whenever they can get somebody to direct it, but dropping it.
They keep bouncing it around, but so there's going to be some crossover. And I think they said they wanted to do the Flashpoint style of the Flash. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. And we know all the kind of the weird things that do happen with Flashpoint. So I do like how they portrayed the character. An unknown actor to me. I've never really seen him. I like the style of the character. I like the humor involved with him. He was always kind of a smarty butt anyway in the comic series. So I think they got a good choice, and it should be interesting to see how the Flash plays out. Wonder Woman, excellent so far. Aquaman, pretty much just by him being there, he's just intimidating as is, and it should be cool. And then Batman, I'm still getting a feel for the Affleck Batman. He's been pretty cool, at least technology-wise. I'm not so impressed with him after Superman versus Batman, but we'll see how the JLA movie goes and how the chemistry works with the crew there.
Yeah.
But I think they got a good crew, and Wonder Woman definitely is on par. Gal Gadot is definitely doing a phenomenal job, and just the filmography from Wonder Woman alone was sweet. So I think if all these items combined together, we are going to get an excellent movie in November. And
I did see the dude that played Flash. I did see him in a movie called "We Need to Talk About Kevin," and he played this. You know how you had those certain kids that you can tell like something's wrong with them, like they're psychotic.
Mm-hmm. I know those.
He gave a great performance of that in that movie.
Kind of like the guy who played the Scarecrow.
Like,
And I can't remember the name of that movie though.
Yeah, he was
Red
good
Eye.
in that.
Was it Red Eye?
Red Eye? No, I know you're talking about. That's not him.
Oh, I thought that was him. But yeah,
They related. It kind of do look alike. He looked kind of like Adam Driver too.
There's a movie coming out called Logan, Lucky Logan.
Lucky Logan.
It has Adam Driver in it, and it's kind of like a comedy.
Yeah,
it looks pretty funny because you see Adam Driver. You're expecting Kyle Ren and chopping people up and stuff, and here he is in this comedy, like playing a little redneck guy. And James Bond is playing Logan, explosives expert, and Channing Tatum is playing the other brother of Adam Driver.
Huh.
And they're plotting to rob a horse racing place. And it's so weird because you see James Bond, who's all, normally all serious and everything, and he's like blonde hair, short tattoos all over him. Adam Driver wearing flannel, and Channing Tatum sitting there, and he's like, ugh. So, Lucky Logan, if you want to check it out.
But
it could be one of those off-the-wall movies.
One thing I will say about the trailer is it does show some humor.
Oh yeah, I love the Flash scene. It was great. And I also like the very first teaser that they released, where Batman's showing up and he's looking for Aquaman, and he's like, dude turns around, snatches him up, and smashes into the wall, and they kind of flash back to him and Gal Gadot talking back and forth. So he said no, yeah, pretty much. Smashed him into a wall and beat the crap out of him. And then he shows up for Barry Allen, which was really cool. That whole scene is phenomenal. And he throws the batarang, and you see him, and he's looking at it, and he looks at him, and he looks back, and he's like, oh, hey. Puts two and two together. And then I think a scene in the trailer, he's like, well, all these other people got superpowers. What's yours? I'm rich.
I just picked up on the scene where Cyborg got into the car, I believe, and he started.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry, Alfred, I got it.
Yeah, and he's like, "Who are you?"
But remember the end of the trailer, though, or the end of the trailer, where Alfred's sitting in the Batcave doing something, and the ground's shaking, and then he's like, "About time you showed up." Who is it? I mean, we kind of had the idea of who we were talking about last night. I said it's probably Superman. Showing up. We know he's in the movie, but where in the movie does he come up?
Mm-hmm.
We know he got taken out when Doomsday bit it with the kryptonite rod, and he was pretty much dead. But if you've read any of the Superman series, with the death of Superman, we know that basically he just kind of went into a hibernation. Mm-hmm. To everybody's appearances, he was dead. And they put him away in the Arctic sanctuary up there, so he had time to heal and regenerate or whatever. And then he shows up. That's what happened
in Superman Returns.
Yeah, basically. So I pretty much suspect that's who it's going to be. I don't think there's any other character we could really suspect that would come in, because Superman and Darkseid go at it a lot. And he's probably one of the only few people that could stand up to Darkseid. So we shall see. It might be the end of the movie. It might be in the middle of the movie. I don't know. I think they're going to get a beat down, because I think Steppenwolf's going to come in there and he's going to put a hurting on him. I think he's going to break the team down. I think, they're going to need that, routing single point. And I think when Superman returns and gets into the game, that's going to be the big moment of the movie. Boom. They're going to all beat down Steppenwolf. We're probably going to see Darkseid show up at that point, get a few blows in, and then step back. Yeah. He's going to have to reevaluate things, because if you listen to the trailer, he says, no Kryptonian was one of the things that he said. So obviously they've been watching Earth and know who they can fight and who they can't fight.
Yep.
So they were looking for the Kryptonian, and now he's out of the picture. I think that's why they're showing their face now. So
that would make sense.
If you're going to invade about Cyborg's design about him, you know that you're going to have a hard time going against a Kryptonian in this case, the most powerful being on the planet at the time. Very well could be. Makes a lot of sense.
I want I want your opinion. What do you think of Cyborg's design?
I think it looks pretty good. He still retains what we consider classic Cyborg, although I don't remember considering him part of the JLA to begin with. It's only mostly in the very recent that he's actually part of the JLA, because our original characters were always Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter. Later versions. So him coming in as a core person into this is new. It's fresh. Not really. If you've watched the cartoon series, it's because he's been there. They haven't really done a lot with Cyborg in the commercials. You only see him very briefly. So I think we're going to see maybe the next trailer have a little bit more Cyborg. I would hope that they'd have a little more Cyborg to give some personality to him, because right now he's just, I'm taking over this thing, Alfred, don't worry about it. Well, that's it. You don't see a lot of action with him.
I would like to see him have that moral dilemma about himself. He's like, hey, I'm not human anymore. You know.
Well, I think we will see that. I think we'll see that, because in the excerpts of Batman versus Superman, when he's going over the videos that Lex Luthor had, you see the mother box going and forming him and creating the cyborg, but then it cuts off shortly after that. So I think we might see some more behind the scenes on that, of him becoming cyborg and his dilemma of dealing with, he was already dying. I mean, there wasn't much left of him anyway. I think he had like part of an arm, his head, some of his upper torso, and that was it. Everything else was gone for whatever happened to him. And his dad was keeping him alive, barely. So there's going to be, I think,
you know what, and you explaining that has put something in my mind, and I think after all these years, I figured out how they did it. Oh, I figured out how they made RoboCop.
Dun 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 dun.
They put the mother box in the room.
It walked away and it did its thing and it came back.
Yeah,
Ed 209.
RoboCop. He's the new RoboCop reboot. DC edition.
You know, but he looks, I mean, visually he looks really good.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just not as practical, but you know, it's kind of expected. It's not going to be as practical. I haven't seen a lot of his ability yet. I mean, they show a scene where his hand's changing into something. We've seen him where his hand expands and controls the bat, whatever it is. The grappler, I think, is what it's called.
One trailer where he had like a helmet form over his head. And he was flying.
Yeah, very briefly. Kind of like a battle helmet. Kind of almost looked like Deathlock's faceplate with the eye, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, again, we've seen Batman fight in the movie, a separate movie. We've seen Superman fight in a separate movie. We have not seen Aquaman anything. We have not seen the Flash anything. And we really haven't seen a whole lot of Cyborg anything, except very brief moments in the clip. So I would hope that in the next trailer we expand a little bit more on the Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg, because we already know what the other guys can do. So bring them out, bring those characters out, bring my interest into them.
I'm interested in seeing like what, because you see Mera, she's in the trailer, and you see the Amazons, and I hope when they have this big battle, which we all know is going to be at the end of the movie, I hope the Amazonians can get in on it, because you see one part where they're riding their horses, looking like they're charging in the battle. So I hope they're in it too.
Yeah,
the Justice League aren't in it by themselves.
And they've stayed away from Man's involvement, only basically to stop Ares from coming. But hey, Ares got his ass beat. So now that Ares is out of the picture, this is the only threat that could be viably left with anyway in guarding the mother box, because they didn't even mention the mother box in the movie. All they mentioned was the lasso, the headband, the gauntlets, and the sword, and the lasso.
And it could be that, because, you know, Wonder Woman took place like, what, 50 years ago? No, like 70 years ago. They could have acquired that box in that 70-year period.
Well, in my reading somewhere, they already had it. It had been on Themyscira.
Okay. Just
like the Atlanteans had the box. And when we saw him, Steppenwolf, show up at Atlantis, when we saw the boom tube open above Themyscira, The only thing is that they didn't. The mother box now has been incorporated into Cyborg already, so they're going to have to explain where that box comes from, and they may even do a simple thing of where the mother boxes came from to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's going to be somewhere in the movie. You know, kind of like when the Collector was talking about the Infinity Stones. Kind of a very quick spectrum of what they were, where they came from, and particularly the one they're dealing with came from the Celestials. So there's probably gonna have to be something. They're gonna have to bring everybody up to speed on what a mother box is.
Yeah,
it won't make any sense otherwise. It would be a pointless movie. So, but again, very exciting, coming out 17 November. I mean, two good movies in my birthday month. You can't beat that. I am ready. I am very ready, and I hope that at least maybe in the next month or so, we see a third trailer, or more, a second officially long trailer.
And I want them to do something that they did in the Avengers. I want them to have that one moment where all of the characters are like right there. Like, remember in the first
circle
movie?
Yeah, when Iron Man and Iron Hawkeye and all of them are all facing away, and then you know, he goes, "Hold on," and he grabs him and takes off with Hawkeye.
Like, I want that moment where it's like, "This is awesome."
Well, we did see a very something like that in Batman versus Superman, when Wonder Woman showed up the first time and she clanks her.
And then all three of them were standing next to each other,
and they're all looking. He goes, "Is he with you?" No, she's not with me.
That was that moment in that movie.
Yeah, that was that moment. And it was funny, too, because he goes, "She's not with me." They're like, "Who the hell is this?" So they might do something like that. I definitely, we're going to have to see that coined moment of the Justice League where they're all ready to go.
Yeah.
And I think we're definitely going to see the Amazonians come in there and definitely throw down. You know, they're going to try to get that box back and restore their honor. So, and I'm sure we might even see the Atlanteans come involved in this too.
I'm hoping so too.
So you're going to have, these three major powerhouses come together. So now the Atlanteans are going to be known. The Themyscirans are going to be known. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of stuff to squeeze in there, and that's got to be at least a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
No ands, ifs, or buts. It has to be at least that long. Because otherwise, I think we'd lose a lot of story. And I know they're doing a lot of reshoots right now because Henry Cavill has had to come back and do some reshoots, but they're talking about his mustache.
Yeah.
He's in another series and he has to keep the mustache. So they're talking about digitally removing it. So there may be a slight delay on releasing the movie because they have to digitally remove his mustache. Like, come on, really? Why can't they just put a fake mustache on in the TV series and he shaves it for the movie? Come on.
Yeah.
Use your brain, people. Use your brains.
Well, we've been past the point, but that's okay.
Yeah, I know. But this is a good conversation, though.
Yeah.
Really, and this is the first time you actually see me on video, too. So you gotta see my beautiful face.
He got that Henry Cavill mustache.
No, man, that's like this. I'm Superman.
All right, then, guys. I hope y'all had a blast because I had a blast today too. Ken always brings that energy, that fire that we need up on Breaking the Base. He always does it, and he just kept me entertained. And I hope he kept y'all entertained too. It was a great discussion. But we're gonna end it here, guys. Thank you guys for joining us here for the 81st episode of Breaking the Base. We hope that y'all like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button to get the best of this channel. And we hope y'all join us again next Thursday for another edition of Breaking the Base. And we don't have a topic yet, but we're gonna definitely get on it. And it won't be a second show tonight. It won't be a second show tonight. I have to cook.
Oh, you got to cook?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're making anyway, so.
But I guess we'll catch you guys later. Thank you for joining us and have yourself a nice evening.